Everyone's been warned about the narcissist, the charming one, the one who takes and takes until there's nothing left. Therapists write books about them. Podcasts dedicate entire seasons to them. Your group chat has probably diagnosed 3 people as one this week alone. But nobody talks about what happens when the person who absorbed all of that finally stops absorbing. When an empath breaks, they don't cry in a corner, they transform. And the version of them that comes out the other side, that's the one you should have been paying attention to all along. If this channel is new to you, hit subscribe. We talk about this stuff honestly, no fluff. Let's back up for a second. An empath, in the psychological sense, is someone with an extraordinarily heightened sensitivity to the emotions of people around them. Not just, oh, I'm a good listener. We're talking about people who walk into a room and physically feel the tension before a single word is spoken. People who cry at commercials, not because they're soft, but because their nervous system processes emotional data like a high-speed antenna with no off switch. Now, put that person in a relationship, romantic, family, friendship, with someone with narcissistic traits, someone who is emotionally bottomless, someone who consumes empathy the way a fire consumes oxygen. For a long time, the empath holds. They justify, they explain away the red flags with their extraordinary capacity for understanding other people's pain. He must have had a hard childhood. She doesn't mean it like that. I know who they really are deep down. Here's the wild part, and this is where it gets genuinely fascinating from a psychological standpoint. Empaths are often more resistant to leaving toxic situations than other personality types. Why? Because their ability to feel deeply cuts both ways. They feel the other person's pain as if it were their own. Leaving feels like abandonment. Staying feels like loyalty. And they've spent so long being the emotional glue that they've quietly forgotten they're also a person. But something shifts. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not a single dramatic moment. It's more like water finding a crack in a wall. Slow, invisible, and then, suddenly, completely through. The empath hits what researchers sometimes call empathy fatigue, a state where the emotional resources are so depleted that the brain essentially starts rationing compassion to protect itself. And when an empath runs out of compassion for someone who never once tried to refill it, that's when the dynamic flips entirely. See, the narcissist's entire playbook depends on the empath staying in their lane, reacting, apologizing, explaining themselves, chasing. The narcissist operates on the assumption that the empath's emotional investment is unconditional and infinite. When the empath goes quiet, not angry, not dramatic, just quiet, the narcissist has no script for that. Every manipulation tactic they've ever used requires an emotional response to work. Guilt tripping needs guilt. Gaslighting needs someone willing to question their own reality. Silent treatment needs someone desperate to reconnect. A fed-up empath gives them none of it. And this is why they're more dangerous, not in a harmful sense, but in a power sense. The narcissist, for all their bravado, is entirely dependent on external validation. Remove the source, and they are genuinely lost. But the empath? They spent years developing emotional intelligence, reading people, understanding motivation, surviving psychological chaos. That skill set doesn't disappear when they stop being kind. It just gets redirected. They stop being the person who saw the best in you and started being the person who sees you clearly. And being truly seen, without warmth, without softness, without the cushion of someone who loves you despite everything, is the one thing a narcissist cannot handle. There's a phrase in psychology: the most dangerous enemy is the one who no longer cares. That is the fed up empath. Not vengeful, not bitter, just done. And done from someone who once gave everything is quietly the most powerful thing in any room. So here's what I want to know from you. Have you ever watched yourself change? Have you ever felt that quiet shift where something in you just stopped? Not broke, stopped. Drop it in the comments. No judgment, no analysis, just real experiences from real people, because honestly, that's where the most important conversations happen. See you in the next one.